Good morning and welcome back to TAPNGRL, Tapping Into You. Did you see that was like the last time I'm going to be calm today? Here we go. Woo! Okay. I had to tell some other peeps to keep it down. Okay. We're going to be talking responsibility again today. All right. But before we do that, I want to talk about a couple other things. First of all, I'd like to thank my sponsors. Logan Street Signs and Banners and Noblesville Trophies, who make it possible. Jim Wofford, the amazing Jim Wofford, who lets us all be here. It's the reason you get all this enlightenment. Uh-oh, he's probably rolling his eyes right now. Did I roll my eyes out loud? That's the saying. So we want to thank them and let you know that if you need their services, please find them, contact them, and do some good business with them. All right, so I always have 1,800 pages of notes because I get so much information in the mornings. I've always said, man, when the time comes where I'm teaching this stuff when I get up, we're going to rock the universe. Okay, so first of all, I want to remind you that I am not a doctor and I am not a psychologist. I teach from my own life experience. So if you are under a doctor's care or a psychologist, you have helping you with some big major issues, trauma, however it is you want to do that, call it, name it, stay with that protocol. Okay, don't be taking yourself off any meds or anything else. This is actually something you can use in conjunction with whatever you're doing. And if you're not with the doctor or you're not with a psychologist and you have issues that are smaller in scope that you can work on your own, then this is a fantastic technique for that. You're standing there, somebody irritates you, you can start tapping. Okay, it also keeps people from bothering you. When you're out and about, you just start tapping. People will leave you alone. Believe me, they'll leave you alone. Okay, let's see. The other thing that I want to tell you is what is tapping, and I want to go through that real quick, and that is tapping is basically acupuncture without the needles. What we do is we tap meridian endpoints on the face and the body while we are addressing negative emotions or negative emotional aspects. Now, one of the things I want to tell you about that is it's not always that we tap and we're miraculously healed. Okay? Now, there can be what we call 1-minute miracles. But as I told somebody yesterday, you've probably been thinking those crappy thoughts for a really long time. So chances are it's going to take you some tapping to actually start to move those negative beliefs, thoughts, and ideas out of your energy system so that you can start to then input better feeling thoughts. Okay? So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to have Lisa tell you a little bit about her because she's normally always here for me as my echo. We also talk about what it is that she does with the essential oils. She is a Young Living essential oils distributor and a Reiki master, and she's going to tell you how to find her. So go.
Yeah, you can reach me at lstasiak45gmail.com or 317-750-2445. Text me. Email me. I did find an oil for our responsibility.
Good.
And it's an oil, you guys, that I did not really like the scent, and maybe you all might like it, but it's ginger.
Yeah, people usually either really like that or really don't.
Yeah, and I didn't bring it because I just don't really like
it. You know what I just thought?
And maybe
you could even sniff an oil that you don't like and tap while you're doing it.
Yeah.
Ginger has so many healing properties that there might be a reason you don't like it.
Exactly, and that's the thing. It's like,
I mean, that's tied to an emotional thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And
maybe you got the hell beat out of you when somebody was making ginger snaps.
Well, it's
I have way too much fun.
Well, yeah, and it's kind of interesting to find out that, with ginger, it's supposed to help empower the person, take responsibility for their lives.
Yeah, and they say even if you're doing a smoothie, just even a little bit of ginger in there, the healing of it is so amazing.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's pretty neat.
Yep. Another thing I want to remind you about with the tapping is that we start out generally, and the way that you get the biggest budges with tapping is really to get specific. So when we start tapping generally, which is what we do here, if you have a memory come up, okay, oh geez, I remember the 3rd grade teacher and I felt so at fault, at blame, so responsible. That is your, let's just call it subconscious. Okay, there's a lot of people that are talking about, is it subconscious, unconscious? It doesn't matter. It's not conscious. It is something that comes forward from your memory to help you know what experience put that emotional connection in there. Hope that made sense. Okay. Now, y'all know also I do one-on-one and I do groups. The next all-girls tapping is going to be November 8th. I imagine that night we're going to be tapping out some election stuff. There's a lot of people going to the polls holding their nose, I know. And I don't want to get into all that. Don't write me any political stuff. I'm doing everything I can to not be dragged into that negativity. When we're starting out and we're doing the general, if you have a memory come up, just pause the show, go ahead and tap on your story, and now let's talk about two other concepts. And one is, with the tapping, we are tapping with negative words, okay? A lot of people have trouble with this because they say, I'm not supposed to be doing that, okay?
Yep.
And I'm going to say this again. I hope you hear me because it really is true, and that is, the reason we're tapping the negative is because that's what's going on in your brain anyway, okay? Everything that you're getting comes to you as a result of what you're vibrating at, okay? You're an energy being. Whether you get it or not, doesn't matter. Everything I'm getting because of my thoughts, ideas, and beliefs, okay? So when I'm getting this thing that I don't like, then it's my, here comes the word, responsibility to figure out what thoughts, ideas, and beliefs do I have that is bringing me that.
And you'd be surprised what actually, once you start speaking it, makes such a difference.
Yeah.
And other things come up, it's like, I didn't even
know that was in there. Yeah. Absolutely. Also, I wanted to tell you on the page a day calendar this morning that I pulled off the page, it's a Louise Hay page a day calendar. It's really, really great. And today's is, my mind is a tool I can choose to use any way I wish. And boy, isn't that the truth. Most of us feel like things happen. Nothing happens without your being involved in it, however that is, and that's like a whole workshop thing, okay? The other thing that I want to do is I want to read something since we're going to be talking about responsibility. Okay. And last time I introduced my new word, responsibility, okay? I was on a site the other day, and there was a book that was there that could be downloaded, and Jack Canfield and Dawson Church. Jack Canfield's the guy who wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul,
yeah,
okay?
I know the name.
And he is a motivational speaker. He's involved in all of this metaphysics stuff. He loves tapping, just so you know. Jack Canfield loves tapping. Dr. Mercola loves tapping. I'm just giving you some people that do that so you can see this is a little more mainstream than a lot of us know it is. But he says, I really want people to get that let's see, wait a minute, where is it? He talks about the principle of 100% responsibility. It means that you believe, if you don't take 100% responsibility, it means that you believe that there are outside forces controlling your life. Now, I know it feels that way sometimes, okay? But in understanding responsibility means I take back my power. I'm the only thinker in my thinker. What I think and believe becomes true for me, okay? And there are a lot of people who want to go, no, they're making me angry. They're being an idiot. It's true, okay? But there are people who see that and it doesn't bother, and there are people who see that get really riled up. And the reason is because if I've got stuff going on, if I fear anger, if I'm afraid I'm an angry person, if I was raised in anger, whatever facet of that anger, I'm going to see it. I'm going to push against it. That's resistance. Resistance means I'm going to get more of it. Okay. Because remember, most everything we learned is backwards. Okay. So he says, when people really get, I am 100% responsible for my life, then they realize if I created it, I could uncreate it and create it the way I want to. Now that's going to take your due diligence of thought. Wow, I've never said that before. Okay, so I am now, you're not going to see this, going to hand this over because my husband's going to try and bring up Facebook Live so we can get this on my line. Okay, so in talking about responsibility, okay, and we talked last time about responsibility, the fault and blame of it, what we're going to talk about today is a new word that I got with it. Okay, when I think of the word responsible, okay, it's going to be heavy. Ready? Burden. Oh, when I got that this morning, I was like, bing, 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 bing. Okay, right? Because if I'm responsible, don't I feel the burden? And let me give you two concepts you're just going to love, okay? If I feel responsible, Okay? And responsible to me means burden or fault and blame, and I'm going to push it away. Do you see where I'm going to not be able to take the responsibility for the weight loss? For the money that I want? Okay? Now, you're probably going to have to come back and hear this again because I know I usually bend brains.
Right.
Okay? she looked at me and looked cross-eyed, went, right.
Right.
Okay, so...
Already been there.
So, I always say the roof was blown off the place with the weirdness. Okay, so no wonder I'm going to avoid taking the responsibility. Now, it's not my responsibility to help my body figure out how to let go of the weight. What? Okay, it's my responsibility to love and appreciate my body. When I love and appreciate my body, my body knows how to get me to the weight.
Right.
You see? How to create the health and well-being, okay? When I'm congruent with that. Do you get it?
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's like your body knows what to do.
Yes, it does.
And we're the thought that makes it do opposite.
Yes.
And very similar to, I think the example you gave of that wild tiger or animal that, doesn't think twice about going, oh, should I get that little deer or whatever.
When I said we're the funniest critters in the planet because we don't follow our knowing where the animals do. So a lion does not sit there and go, I wonder if that mama elk is going to really have a problem with me eating her baby.
Right, yeah. So that just clicked. I'm like, yeah.
A couple people didn't like my example. They went, ooh. but it's true.
Well, and just the birds. I give
In fact, I will tell you that the other day we were coming out of a restaurant and a lady stopped us and said, look, somebody stopped in the parking lot. They kind of creeped me out because they asked me for money and they were acting very strange. And I said, good for you for paying attention to your knowing. No, you go to your car by yourself. No, I'm kidding. You guys know I'm snarky by now, right? And I said, no, thank you for paying attention to your knowing, because how many times do you hear people after they got in trouble go, well, I had this feeling I shouldn't have gone out to the parking lot by myself at 10 o'clock at night. Well, duh, okay?
Right.
Not real smart. And when you get that hunch, that knowing, that's your guidance system, which is what I'm connecting you to.
Right.
Your guidance system that is your emotions that lets you know feeling good feels good and feeling bad doesn't. And when I'm not feeling good, it's my, here we go, responsibility. But if I feel like how that guy's acting is not my doing, and what a burden that I should have to feel good when he's being a goofball. You see how we do this? Oh, I've had people get mad at me about forgiveness stuff because they say, I shouldn't have to be learning forgiveness because of what they did. And I go, well, I get that.
Yeah.
But the only guy who's stuck and feeling miserable is you.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so true.
So, I mean, again, I learned all this stuff from my own life experience. Okay. So you see where when I start to love and appreciate my body, now my body, when I'm paying attention to it, will lead me to the foods that will satisfy me, the foods that expand me, the foods that feel good, the foods that it wants.
Right.
I did do a thing for a little while where I was paying attention to what my body wanted. It was kind of strange for me because I was eating salmon in the morning, and I was like, wow, I'm like, Jesus, I'm eating salmon in the morning.
Wow. Wow.
And, stuff like that. And when I said to my sister, well, I'm paying attention to what my body wants, and she's like, duh. Okay, so you see where it's going to be way, way easier. Okay, then the tapping can support that I'm trying to love and appreciate my body, so that then I'm taking responsibility.
Yeah.
You see? You see how all that... What we normally do is we take one false premise or crappy thought, stinking thinking as we call that, and we connect it to another crappy thought, and before you know it, your whole reality is wrapped up in these false premises that you've been taught by other people that are really not getting you what you want. And of course, nothing of this has anything to do with what I wrote down. Okay, which is usual. We're usual. So the two things I want you to remember is the reason that we're speaking the negative is because that's what's there anyway. You can always do a couple rounds of empowerment. Please, 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 and we'll do some of that. The other thing is the words. People say to me all the time, Colette, I don't have the words. Okay? Not like you do.
Right.
Look, you don't even need the words. The words are just for focus. Okay? Sometimes when I see something on my Facebook timeline that I can feel brings me a negative response, I'll just look at the post and tap.
Okay.
Seriously. Because everything in me knows what to do with that. It's when I get in the way of that. Okay?
Right.
So, so the responsibility, okay, I was thinking about it as a burden. And so last week when we talked about it being fault and blame, let's tap this way about the burden.
Right.
Okay? And when we're doing this, we're going to rate on a 0 to 10, 1 to 10, 1 being not at all, 10 being it's the most true. So say to yourself, feeling responsible feels like a burden to me. Something like that. And then rate how true that is. Now, I don't usually get 10s. That's a 10. My brain just went right to a 10. Okay? So get your rating, and we call that a SUDS, subjective units of distress. That's what the SUDS rating is, the 1 to 10. And the reason we do it is because, again, these shifts with tapping can be so subtle that coming down even a point is big, okay? And people all the time will go, no, I just feel better, okay? So go ahead and rate. Being responsible feels like a burden. Got it? Okay? Take a nice breath. If you haven't tapped before, don't worry about it. Just go to the karate chop. Follow along with us. Karate chop is that fatty part down the hand. Okay, ready? Even though taking responsibility feels like such a burden to me. I deeply and profoundly love and accept myself. And even though the idea of taking responsibility feels like a burden. And I deeply and profoundly love and honor how I feel. And even though taking responsibility, even hearing the word feels like such a burden. Let's throw in a little fault and blame. And fault and blame. What a nice concoction. Yummy. And I deeply and profoundly love and accept myself. Okay, so let's go to the eyebrow. Remember, it's either side. It's right where the eyebrow starts. And a really good way to think about this is there's a bone that goes all the way around here. So we're always connecting with that bone. Okay, so right there where the eyebrow starts, this burden of responsibility. Side of the eye. Now you don't want to be all, am I turned the right way? Okay, because I was getting backwards. You don't want to go all the way back here. You want to be up on this bone by the eye. This burden of responsibility. Under the eye. Feel that bone right there. This burden of responsibility. Under the nose. This burden of responsibility. Chin. Responsibility feels like a burden. Collarbone. Responsibility feels like I got to figure out the house. Figure out the house. Knew what you meant. Okay, here we go. All this responsibility burden. Top of the head. This burden of responsibility. Take a nice breath. Okay, I just flashed an 8 in my head, so that came down. Now, you could look at that and go, wow, it only came down 2 spots. Well, that was only 1 round.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
You look like you could take a nap.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. She's all relaxed and chilled out. Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to the eyebrow. I always like to take another nice big breath right here. We're on the on the eyebrow. She'll be asleep by the time we get to the second round. That's all right. I'll just prop her eye. Meaning burden. Under the eye. What if it doesn't? Under the nose. What if responsibility? Chin is really about awareness. Collarbone. What if this awareness under the arm helps me be actually more responsible.
Top
of the head, by being aware of what I'm feeling. Take a breath. Right as I got done and was getting ready to ask a question, I went to 6. Okay? This is why we keep doing the rounds, okay? Now, if you've had a memory come up, oh my gosh, Mrs. So-and-so, okay? And there might be other words in there. Did she humiliate you in front of the class? Did she shame you, blame you, okay? Did mom come in the room and something became your fault? Have you ever taken responsibility for something that wasn't your fault just for peace? Ooh, I think we've all done that, okay?
Yes.
All right? But when we do that from a place of empowerment, it's totally different. Like now, I sometimes tell people, yep, you're right.
It's okay.
Because you're always right.
Right.
Your brain makes you right. Okay? Again, another show.
Love
all right.
it.
All right, so let's go back to the eyebrow. What am I really feeling wound up about?
What am I really feeling wound up about?
Side of the eye. Why does this bother me so much?
Why does this bother me so much?
Under the eye. I was told it's my responsibility.
I was told it's my responsibility.
Under the nose. When other people don't feel good.
When other people don't feel good.
Chin. Could that really be true?
Could that really be true?
Collarbone. What if it's not?
What if it's not?
Under the arm. What if I can only take responsibility for me?
What if I can only take responsibility for me?
Top of the head. What am I doing in anybody else's business?
What am I doing in anybody else's business?
Take a big breath. You see, that's connected to this idea of selfish and selfless. And one of the things I teach is the most selfless you can be is to really be selfish. Okay. Now I know some people out there heard that went, what? Okay. I'm not talking about ego selfish.
Right.
I'm talking about selfish to care enough about how I feel, because when I feel good, I got more to give to the world.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I can pay attention to what's going on out there, or I can pay attention to this. And after I've paid attention to this enough, I've established a pattern and a habit of thought that now lines me up with things I want. For example, I just got kind of a disappointing note yesterday about something I was going to do that is, for now, it's not canceled. It's what's the word? Delayed. Okay?
Okay.
I just looked at that note and started tapping. Okay? And the thing, because I've trained my brain, okay, the next thought I went to was, oh, good, something to focus on. Okay? Instead of feeling like, oh, no, okay, because we're all trained into doing that with comparison and competition, instead I went, oh, now I get to focus on people that show up that want to hear what I have to say. I love sharing these concepts. I like knowing I help change lives. I like helping people feel better.
Don't you think that, you know what, that change was for a reason?
Oh, yeah.
Because you don't know what's going to be at that time.
That there's something else good.
Exactly.
And you just brought up something else that I wrote about this morning. And that is this idea when people say things happen for a reason. Okay. And that reason is always you. Okay? Now, a lot of people say, oh, everything happens for a reason, and lean back as if there's, again, here's where 100% responsibility. Okay? So I probably wasn't as lined up with this as I could have been, or the other side of this could be I was really lined up, and there's a time that will be better.
Right.
That's where my brain goes now. Because it doesn't serve me to go, oh, no, they don't like me. What if they don't like me? Okay? Because I used to do that.
I understand that.
Yeah. Because it's an ouchie when we feel like somebody doesn't like us, because we were told if they don't like us, we're no good, right? Okay, so all this stuff. Now, I want to remind you that I do some Facebook Live taps. So when you see those, I try and do like one a week and maybe more. So just come on my timeline and come along and enjoy the tap, because it really is nice to get those in. And you can go back and do any of those ones that are on my timelines. Use them again and again. Right. Like this show, you can even come back and do the last 10 minutes of the tapping. Let's do a little empowerment tapping. Okay? I like knowing. Side of the eye. That I can only take responsibility for me.
That I can only take responsibility for me.
Under the eye. It's safe for me.
It's safe for me.
To be aware of how I feel.
To be aware of how I feel. To take responsibility for me.
Collarbone. I like practicing thoughts.
I like practicing thoughts.
That feel good.
That feel good.
Under the arm. I'm the only thinker in my thinker.
I'm the only thinker in my thinker.
Top of the head. So feeling good is my work.
So feeling good is my work.
And I play at it.
And I play at it.
Let's do one more. I like knowing how I feel.
I like knowing how I feel.
This awareness of how I feel serves me.
Awareness of how I feel serves me.
I like this.
I like this.
I like feeling good.
I like feeling good.
I really do like feeling empowered.
I really do like feeling empowered.
I like knowing that I don't have to worry about anybody else.
I like feeling like I don't have to worry about anybody else.
That me feeling good is my job.
That me feeling good is my job.
How I feel.
How I feel.
Job one.
Job one.
Take a breath.
Yay.
I want to thank Logan Street Signs and Banners again and Noblesville Trophies. I want to have Lisa remind you who she is real fast.
Reiki Master, Essential Oils, Young Living Distributor, 317-750-2445, lstasiak45@gmail.com.
This weekend at the Hamilton County Fairgrounds, Good Journeys is having a health and wellness psychic expo. Come on out and join the fun. Also,
which county fairgrounds?
Hamilton County Fairgrounds in Hamilton County in Noblesville, which we just found out Noblesville's 2 minutes ahead of the rest of the world. There you go. Okay, there is also, and Lisa and I will probably have this on our timelines, November 5th. There is what we're calling an Agape Healing Retreat from 9 to 5. It's an investment of $85. There's going to be 15 peeps there that are allowed to come, so sign up early to get your spot. It's going to be an all-day thing with a different healing thing.
Every hour.
Every hour.
Oils, Reiki, tapping, drumming, all kinds of nutrition.
Nutrition, tapping, drumming, on and on and on.
I can't
wait. Also, in November and December, we're probably going to do one show each month, and we're going to be talking about holiday stress. So make sure you get back here so you can tap out some family and some food issues and some money worries and all that other stuff that comes with the holidays. I know I already got you all psyched up for it, don't I? Anyway, we're going to go. Lisa and I signing out. And until we see you next time, just keep tapping into you.
Yeah.